Welcome back to Colorado Sports Connection. We're talking with the Vice President of Corporate Communications for the Denver Broncos, Jim Saccomano. When we last left, we were talking about you with the Denver Bears,
right,
and then you go to the Denver Broncos, and they had called you and offered you the job basically without an interview.
I'd known the people for some time, and you know, Daryl, most of the interviewing we do in our lives is the interpersonal relationships that we do. At all times, we're probably impressing someone one way or another, up or down. Well, I'd been a young guy working hard and just doing my job, and you don't necessarily know that somebody's talking about you or thinking about you. Well, it turns out that someone was. And when this other fellow left to go to another team, a window opened and I jumped through it.
So what's going through your mind? Because I believe it was the Broncos. They had just completed Super Bowl 12.
That's correct. You know, I remember one of the first things I did, I went to see our manager, Doc Edwards, a great guy. And I said, Doc, I feel kind of sheepish. And I'll never forget, I said, Doc, you know, I'm going to the Broncos, but we're still in the middle of our baseball season, and I'm leaving the team, you know, and I feel a little awkward. And he said, Jim, everybody wants to go to the major leagues. He said, look at that clubhouse out there. Everybody wants to get that call, and you got the call. And it really was a great feeling and made me feel great. And yeah, I was joining a championship team and won the Orange Crush. Bronco Mania, complete sellouts. Of course, we've been sold out for 41 years. So I had jumped into all those things and just tried to keep pedaling and, staying ahead of the alligators and crocodiles, Daryl.
Now, here you are, you're working with baseball fans, and then all of a sudden, you go to the Denver Broncos Maniacs.
Mania, and of course, the whole city, everybody's a Broncos fan. I mean, we know we've got our Steeler fans and our Raider fans, but essentially, the Broncos are the state religion, and they were then, and that has pretty much been the case. That's why there's sometimes so much criticism of us. There's so much passion about us, so much care about us, that whatever we do is defines the week for everybody. But as far as my job goes, I just, I'm doing press releases and statistics and lining up players. But you're right, I've gone from Bombo Rivera to Randy Gradishar, and so quite a lot more interest in Randy Gradishar.
Oh, yeah. Now, last week we had Haven Moses on.
Yeah, the M&M connection.
I had asked him to compare yesterday's Broncos fan to today's Broncos fans, and I'd love to hear your opinion on that.
Well, I think they're just as passionate, but the culture has changed, the media has changed, society has changed. Once upon a time, the Broncos were the only team in town. We're still the primary team, I would dare to say, but we now have 3 other major leagues, and besides even soccer, lacrosse, and so forth. And we don't just have 3 stations doing the news, the weather, the sports. We've got tremendous numbers of television stations, tremendous media outlets, the internet, the websites, and everything. There are a lot more ways for people to look at things, a lot more directions for people to go to be involved in things. So that's changed. Our piece of the pie is still the largest piece, but it's cut a lot more ways now, Daryl.
Okay. Now, you talked about the media. Now, myself as a sports fan, when somebody says the Denver Broncos and they associate with the media, I think of Ron Zappolo covering the Denver Broncos.
Legend.
Now, there are a lot of good guys out there, but there's something about Ron that separates him from the rest of the pack. Your thoughts on that?
Well, Ron is a great professional, as witness to his career. He's never stepped back. He's only moved up, and now he's an anchor at one of the major stations in the city. Ron, a real pro, has done a great job, a broadcasting legend. I won't say so much a sports legend because he's been in news now for 15 years, but a broadcasting legend in the state of Colorado. And he was a great pro, and always has been a great pro with whom to work.
Now, when you're working with the media, what do you require these guys, these sportscasters, on their end when they're covering the Broncos?
Professionalism. It's about all you can require. When you get beat 30-0, you're going to have some critical stories and some critical things said. When I've always told people, don't worry about the media. About if you win 30-0, if we win, it's going to look like they're on our payroll because everything they say is seashells and sunsets. It's all wonderful. If you're getting killed, it's going to be bad. So it's up to us to play well, to perform well, to have an exciting passing game, to to have something that makes the fans excited and want to watch. With the media, all you're really looking for is accuracy. You can't ask them to love you, but the record will take care of that. But you are asking for accuracy, and once in a while you got to throw the high inside fastball if somebody is sloppy, because you don't want sloppiness. Sloppiness just breeds inaccuracy, and I've never really kind of allowed that. I'll call a guy, but again, if you call a guy out, you try to do it in a professional manner,
Sure.
Daryl, because you're not looking to make enemies along the way, and it's not the proper way to live your life.
Now, when we come back, what I'm going to ask is, because dealing with the media, I'm sure you've had to have some of your head coaches and players bite their tongue. So I want to get some of your thoughts on that when we come back.
Sure, Daryl.
We'll continue our talk with Jim Saccomano right here on Colorado Sports Connection.
No matter where in the world you are, everybody loves pizza. And from coast to coast, everybody knows there's no pizza like a New York pizza. Right here in Colorado, there's no pizza like Big Bill's New York Pizza. If it's pizza you want, then Big Bill's is the place. If you're even thinking about another pizza joint, forget about it. Come on in and see for yourself why Big Bill's New York Pizza is Colorado's best pizza.